Oakland A's leading off today will be Bert Campaneris at short. Campaneris leading off. Bill North at center field. North batting second. Sal Bando at third base. Bando batting third. Reggie Jackson, the designated hitter. Jackson batting cleanup. Joe Rudy in left field for the A's. Rudy batting fifth. Gene Tennis will be at first base. Tennis batting sixth. Claudell Washington in right field. Washington batting seventh. Ray Fosse, the catcher, Fosse, and then Dick Green at second base, Green batting ninth. Vida Blue pitching and Fosse catching for the Oakland A's. For Baltimore, leading off, Rich Coggins will be in right field. Coggins, a left-handed batter. Ball Blair in center field. Blair batting second. Bobby Grich at second base. Grich batting third. Tommy Davis, the designated hitter. Davis in the cleanup spot. Don Baylor will be in left field for the Orioles. Baylor batting fifth. Brooks Robinson at third base. Robinson batting sixth. Earl Williams at first base. Williams batting seventh. Andy Etchebarren will be the catcher. Etchebarren batting eighth. And Mark Belanger, the shortstop. Belanger will bat ninth. So Earl Weaver, the manager of the Orioles, has just the one left-handed batter. Rich Coggins, who's a good fastball hitter, facing a left-hander. Vida Blue, who, of course, is a fastball pitcher. Right now, we're going to have the throwing out of the first ball. Commissioner Bowie Kuhn will throw out the first ball here this afternoon. Andy Etchebarren over there to take the commissioner's spot. He's situated behind the plate, just to the right of home plate, slightly on the Oakland side. Visiting dugout on the first base side here at Memorial Stadium. We're about ready. Here's the windup, and the pitch was a little high. Commissioner didn't have a chance to get loose very much, Dick.
No, I just noticed, too, the fan reaction is very interesting. The commissioner was booed, and then when Lee McPhail was introduced, the President of the American League, there was no reaction. Then Jerry Hofberger got a big hand. Evidently, he's a very popular owner here.
Lee McPhail, who formerly was the general manager here. Jim Palmer started the windup, but then time was called. Bert Campaneris leading off for the Oakland A's. Campy so far has 3 hits and 8 at-bats in the series. The first pitch outside a ball. 1-0 to Campaneris with North and Bando to follow. Jim Palmer, 7-12 during the year. Out 54 days with a sore arm. Fastball strike, 1-1. Russ gets the ball in strike umpire today. Dave Phillips umpiring at first. Marty Springstead at second. Bill Diggin at third. Down the left field line, Larry Knapp. Right field line, Jerry Neudecker. There's a swing and a fly ball into right field. Coggins misjudged the ball. He's back, makes the catch. Coggins misjudged the ball. He has the bright sun field here, and there's not a cloud in the sky. I think it's very similar to the playing conditions that we had in Oakland. Very high, bright skies.
Well, I was in Pittsburgh for those 2 days, and they had fair weather, very nice, much warmer than it is here. But they did have a high sky, too, and the outfielders do have some trouble, as Coggins had on that one.
Now here's Bolinar, switch hitting center fielder. 1 for 7 in the series, but he scored 3 runs. He fouls the first pitch to the screen, 1 strike. Bobby Winkles, former California Angel skipper, now a coach for the Oakland A's, coaching at third. Jerry Adair, who at one time played for the Baltimore Orioles, coaching at first base. Wes Stark is the pitching coach. Bobby Hoffman also coaches for Alvin Dark. And the pitch is low for the ball, 1-1. All even on the count now to Bill North. Memorial Stadium. You don't get any cheap home runs in this ballpark. Swing and a foul off to the left on a play, 1-2. But it's a fair ballpark, just like Oakland. It's 309 feet down each line, 360 to 370 in straightaway left and right, and 410 on out in straightaway center field. The pitch on the way to North, and he swings and misses. The bat goes flying out of his hands. A breaking ball from Jim Palmer, and he struck out Billy North. 2 gone here in the first inning. And Sal Bando coming up. Bando 2 for 7 in the series.
He seemed to set him up very well with that one. A lot of fastballs, and then suddenly that big breaking ball caught him by surprise, made the bat slip out of his hands.
Sal Bando, who got the A's off and running in the second game with a home run. 2 for 7 in the series. Palmer, the tall right-hander, delivers to him. A ground ball to the right side. Grich has it. Over to Williams, and the side is up. 4-3 to play. 3 up and 3 down. So the score at the end of 1/2 inning. Oakland 0. Baltimore coming up.
Well, the weather could be a factor in the third game of the playoffs between the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Los Angeles Dodgers at Dodger Stadium today. Yesterday, they had an unusual shower that moved across the city and dumped quite a bit of rain in certain areas, and it rained pretty much at Dodger Stadium during a workout in the afternoon. Light rain to a drizzle at times. And the weatherman is forecasting a 40% chance of rain for today's game. And, of course, if it got rained out, it would be a real novelty. The Dodgers, since moving west for the 1958 season, after they left Brooklyn in 57, the Dodgers have been rained out only once in 16 years of competition on the West Coast, and that was back in 1967. So the weather is usually near perfect during the summer and fall on the West Coast. But there is a chance today of rain that could terminate today's ball game or at least delay it. But the last report we had, it was partly cloudy to cloudy in Los Angeles, and the temperature in the low 60s.
Today, the Orioles facing Vida Blue, the big left-hander here, Dick Young. He's had a lot of experience in these championship series games, but he's never fared too well.
Yes, of course, he's always had the misfortune of, invariably had the misfortune of running into Palmer. And Palmer has been excellent in these playoff games.
Vida Blue is 0-2 in American League Championship competition and also 0-2 in the World Series, while Palmer is 4-0 in playoff competition and 3-1 in the World Series. One thing for sure, that they have both had lots of experience in these pressure ball games. Now, Baltimore coming up with Coggins, Blair, and Rich. Rich Coggins hitless in 4 times up in the first game of the series. Little left-handed batter, but he likes fastballs. Blue's first pitch to him is off the outside corner, ball one. Ray Fosse behind the plate for the A's. Third baseman Bando up on the grass. Coggins, very speedy, takes a strike, and now it's 1-1. Campaneris, the shortstop, shaded well over towards second. Dick Green at second base. Tennis at first. Rudy North, Washington in the outfield. Pitch is low and outside, a working ball, 2-1. Billy Hunter coaching at third base. George Stoller at first for Baltimore. George Bamberger, the Baltimore pitching coach, and Jim Fries, the bullpen coach for Earl Weaver. Swing and a miss at a low fastball by Coggins, and it's 2-2. Rich Coggins, who didn't have nearly as good a year as he had his rookie year last year, but he did have a lot of tough luck early this year. He hit the ball well, but he simply did not have any luck the first part of this season. Here's the pitch to it. Strike 3, a fastball over, and Coggins wants to go by. So Blue claims his first strikeout. The Baltimore leadoff batter, Rich Coggins. Here's Paul Blair, 3 for 7 in the series, including a homer. During the regular season, Vida Blue won 17 in the last 15. He had 40 starts, completed 12 games at 1 shutout, and an earned run average of 325. Pitched 282 in the third innings, gave up 246 hits, walked 98, struck out 174. Here's a swing and a ground ball to short. Campaneris up with it, over to Tennis at first base, and Blair is retired. Short to first to play, 2 down. Last of the first inning, no score, and here is the second baseman, Bobby Grich. Bobby Grich, 2 for 8 in the series, including a 2-run home run off Catfish Hunter in the first game of the series. Vida Blues pitch to him, a breaking ball, and hit up the middle. Back of second goes Green. He's up with it, the peg, and he got it. The ball wasn't hard hit, and Green had time to get over there, come up with it, and make the play. So each team down in order in the first inning. Go with the score. Baltimore nothing, Oakland nothing.
Pittsburgh Pirates manager Danny Murtaugh readily is admitting that his team has its back to the wall today out at Los Angeles. They lost the first 2 National League playoff games in their home park at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. And the problem seems to be the team batting mark. So far against the Dodgers in 2 outings, it is hitting a feeble 188. The rest of the series is in Los Angeles, and it could go the distance of 5 games, but the Dodgers are hoping to wrap it up in the minimum of 3 today. Pittsburgh will send right-hander Bruce Keeson to the mound today. He has a 9-8 season record. Los Angeles manager Walter Alston will counter with left-hander Doug Rowell, who won 13 and lost 11 in the regular season. A little bit later on, we'll be hearing some comments from Doug Rowell about pitching during the pressure of a playoff series. But the Dodgers are favorites to wrap it up today. They have been a phenomenal ball club in Dodger Stadium, particularly this year. They have been ever since they moved to the coast and into their new confines after playing a few years in the Coliseum. But this year, the Dodgers have been really something at Dodger Stadium.
Well, Dick, was kind of an an unusual year for pitchers with former Cy Young winners like Jim Palmer of Baltimore and Tommy Seaver of the Mets having the kind of years they had this season.
It's strange, but the two Cy Young winners, Palmer and Seaver, both came up with sore arms. Palmer came up with sore arms. Seaver came up with a sore hip due to a sciatic nerve and had extreme difficulty. Just broke even with 11-11 this year. So it was really a tough time for Cy Young winners.
Palmer was 3-8 when he came up with that sore arm. He was out 54 days and came back to split 8 decisions and pitched well. Curve strike to Reggie Jackson 0-1. Jackson 0 for 7 in the series. Pulled a hamstring muscle a couple of weeks before the end of the season and aggravated the hamstring. Actually, before the first game in Oakland during pregame drills. Ground ball to short, up with it Belanger, the peg to Williams, one away.
Earl Weaver said that they are going to pitch a little differently to Reggie Jackson because of his sore leg. He said it not only affects his fielding, but it affects the way he swings.
Okay, they had Reggie hitting the ball to the left side that time, short to first, and here's Joe Rudy, the right-handed batting left fielder. Joe 2 for 8. In the series, one of his hits a run-scoring triple on Sunday. Palmer delivers to him, and a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Joe Rudy with that very unique, widespread, closed stance, crouched over the plate. No score in the top of the second inning, 1 out, nobody on for the world champion Oakland A's. Series all tied at a game apiece. Wind up by Jim Palmer, the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. The Palmer fastball. He comes in over the top. He is not throwing the fastball, at least with the frequency that he used to throw it before he had the sore arm this year. But on occasion, he still rears back and can pop that ball pretty good, as he did that time to Rudy. Now the count is 2 strikes. And the pitch. Low outside, 1-2. Robinson, Belanger, Grich, and Williams in the Baltimore infield with Echeverria behind the plate. Baylor, Blair, and Coggins in the outfield. Light breeze blowing in from left field here at Memorial Stadium. And the pitch from Palmer. Fastball away, and it's 2-2. Palmer worked in the series opener here last season, and he shut out the Oakland A's. He has a tremendous ERA in championship series play in the American League Championship Series. He is 4-0 with an ERA of under 2. And the pitch. Fastball swung on, lined out into left field. Coming hard is Baylor, and he makes the catch. Well, that's the hardest hit ball of the game so far. A liner, but it hung up there for Don Baylor to make the grab on it, and there are 2 gone. So here comes first baseman Gene Tenace. Tenace so far has been held hitless in the series. You know, 0 for 6. Low curve to him for a ball. Palmer had 26 starts during the season, only 5 complete games, 2 shutouts, 7-12 record, ERA 3.27. Pitch outside, a ball, now it's 2-0. Jim pitched 178 2/3 innings this year, 176 hits, walked 69, struck out 84, and here's a call strike to Tenace, 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike to Gene Tenace, who was the most deceptive 211 hitter, I think, certainly in the American League. Led the American League in walks with 110 in the season. Fouls the pitch back upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The wall in left field and right field is 14 feet high. If you pull the ball down the line, but then it starts to drop off. It's 360 feet away and straight away right and left. But it's only about 8 feet high the rest of the way around the outfield, not 14. Pitch is low and outside here to Tenace, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Most of the players like this park to hit him. Although at times the hitters will tell you that a fellow like Palmer, who's big and tall, coming over the top, sometimes they have some houses up on a bank way beyond the center field fence, and the background isn't that good. There's a fly ball hit out into right center field, fairly deep. Back goes Coggins, and he makes the catch in deep right center. Right fielder for the put-out. So once again, the A's go 1, 2, 3. Score now at the end of 1 1/2. The A's nothing, the Orioles nothing.
Later today, the Dodgers hope to close out their series, as we said, against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Dodgers starting pitcher, Doug Rouse, said he won't feel any extra pressure in working Game 3 today against the Bucs.
The only pressure that I have is what I put upon myself, hoping that I can at least pitch a good ball game and give a good performance. I don't feel any pressure that this is the end of the world if I don't win, because I just go out there and think to myself that I just hope and pray that I can do my job. And, not every time you go out there you're going to win, but yet you want to have the personal satisfaction of knowing that you're adding to the team's effort to winning. And, if we don't win, we've got 2 other days to go after and get them.
That's Doug Rao, who hopes to close out the series for manager Walter Alston and the Dodgers and get them into the World Series. And then if they can come up with a victory today, they'll wait and see who they'll play, either the Orioles or the Oakland Athletics. Oakland, of course, is bidding to make it 3 in a row in World Championships this year, but they've got to get by the stubborn Birds first.
Here come the Orioles now for the last of the second inning. Tommy Davis, Don Baylor, and Brooks Robinson, the base by the blue. Davis 3 for 8 in the series with 1 run batted in. Dick and I were talking between innings, and first 2 innings, Jim Palmer looked like he threw some pretty good fastballs, Dick.
Yes, he was throwing real hard. I didn't expect him to be that fast, but we'll have to wait and see how long he can keep it up. Tommy Davis is up, and of course Tommy Davis is known to New York fans as the man that Ralph Houk decided to pitch to in that clutch game, and they've never forgiven him.
Well, it's Tommy Davis. A tough out. We were talking about that in the first game of the series. It didn't really mean something. He's a tough guy to get out. Blue's first pitch to him is low for a ball.
That, of course, was with men on second and third, and Detroit 1 run ahead in the 9th inning.
Fastball hit on the ground at short. Up with it is Campaneris. The peg to tennis is in time for the out. So Tommy Davis out short to first. Blue has retired the first 4 batters. There has been a base runner thus far. I'll bring up the Oriole left fielder, Don Baylor.
Number 25, Don Baylor.
Baylor 2 for 8 in the series. Here's a guy for the last 2 years. He has really closed the season like a house afire. Big, strong right-handed batter, and the pitch is low for the ball.
Yes, sir, he was their hot man, and that was the excuse that Houk gave for pitching to Davis instead of putting him on. He said Baylor was hot, I didn't want to pitch to him.
Swing and a miss. He had a good cut at a fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike down to Baylor. Some talk that they might eventually try to move Baylor to first base. He's had a little trouble in the outfield. He does not have a very good arm, but he's a good offensive player, good base runner. Here's the pitch. Swing foul to the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Brooks Robinson on deck for Baltimore. No score. Last of the second inning. Dick Green coming in now to have a word with Vida Blue. Wes Stark, the Oakland pitching coach, talking about Vida Blue before the game, and said that he's not really extremely wild, but once in a while when he gets in trouble, he'll make a pitch too fat, and some of those pitches have hurt him this year. It's why he ended up with a 17-15 record. Baylor fouls it off. A lot of people thought, of course, that Blue should have won more games than that, but gets to be a very fine line between winning and losing. He did lose his share of tough games, and seems to give up a crucial hit now and then. There's a high foul off to the right on a play by Baylor. The count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the third game of the National League Championship Series will be getting underway in about an hour from now. Pittsburgh Pirates at the point of no return. They have dropped the first 2 games to the Dodgers in their best-of-5 series. Here's a swing, high fly ball. Left field, not deep. Coming in. Left fielder under it, takes it. So Baylor flies to left, 2 gone. Nobody on, and here is certainly one of the all-time greats and a great favorite here, Brooks Robinson, the third baseman. Brooks 1 for 6 in the series. Home run in the first game of the series. Vida Blue delivers to him. Swing, he fouls it off to the right out of play. 1 strike to go. Brooks Robinson, who now has collected 2,698 hits. He loves to play the game. Here's the pitch. Pitch is outside a ball, 1-1. Somebody asked him the other day, Brooks, would you rather get to the Hall of Fame or play till you're 45 years old? He said, I'd rather play.
He just might do it, too.
A strike is called, 1-2. Dick, either way, we all know that there's no doubt about this fellow making the Hall of Fame. First, a lot of baseball people, been around a long time already, rate him as the greatest third baseman of all time. Fouls the pitch, off to the right out of play, and it's still 1-2.
Actually, Herb, what Brooks says when you ask him about how long are you going to play, he says, only until somebody better comes along.
So far, that hasn't happened. 2 out, none on. Here's the 1-2 pitch to him. Low fastball. Again, he whacks it foul in the first base seat. Still 1-2. The Orioles Stadium seats about 52,000. And they expect just about half that many for the third game of the series here today. Robinson hits one up in the air to center field. Back goes North. He's under it now, and North, the center fielder, takes it for the out. So nobody's had a base runner in the first 2 innings. Baltimore 3 up and 3 down. The score at the end of 2, Oakland nothing, Baltimore nothing.
Former baseball player Bob Aspromonte has filed a $600,000 lawsuit claiming his right eye was damaged by an exploding battery last April. Aspromonte, whose brother Ken, of course, is the former manager of the Cleveland Indians, last played for the New York Mets 2 years ago and starred for Houston before that. He named as defendants the General Motors Corporation, Sears Roebuck Company, and Sam White Oldsmobile. Aspromonte, who now sells real estate in the Houston area, said he was trying to help a person whose car could not start. He said he went to borrow a jumper cable, and as he was leaning over to hook it on, the battery exploded, and the cap flew off and hit him in the eye. So said his lawyer, Joe Jamail. The suit said it was a Sears jumper cable applied to a Delco battery, boy, we get a lot of plugs in here, in a 73 Oldsmobile sold by the dealer Sam White. The suit said the explosion caused Aspromonte serious and painful injuries and cosmetic defects which result in great embarrassment, humiliation, and anguish.
Herb, you were talking a little while ago about this stadium. Oddly enough, this stadium has a lot of benches in it. That seems to be the discontent with it. Only about 20,000 of the seats have backs to them. The rest are benches, and they are mostly the empty seats that you see. Jerry Hartberger is pushing hard for a new stadium in downtown Baltimore, and it comes up for a vote in January.
Waddell Washington slicing a foul up to the left and out of play as he leads off the third inning. Left-handed batting Waddell Washington. He's 2 for 5. Like they don't have very many seats with any protection over them, and it gets very warm here in the summer. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Yes, the proposed stadium downtown will be a dome stadium. It'll cost about $60 million in itself, but would be part of a $150 million complex.
Thomas pitch on the way. Backed him up a little, 1-2. Oh, I guess it grazed him. He's hit by the pitch.
There's an argument.
Yep. It was very close, but the plate umpire, Russ Getz, said that the ball grazed Waddell Washington. And of course, Baltimore very unhappy now because they had him 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And boy, you don't like to, you might try to move a guy back a little bit, but you don't want to hit him with a pitch. And Earl Weaver out there letting the plate umpire, Russ Getz, have it. Waddell Washington hit by the pitch. He's the first base runner of the game. And it'll bring up the catcher, Ray Fosse, who had a big day on Sunday with 3 hits, including a double and a homer.
Umpire Russ Getz is contending that the ball just skimmed his elbow, and the A's trainer is out there spraying the grease on the elbows to make the action at least look good.
Ray Fosse, the catcher, 4 for 6 so far in the series. So the first base runner of the afternoon here at the top of the third inning, Waddell Washington with nobody out. Earl Williams holding with him. The pitch to Fosse. There he goes, and here's a line drive cut by Robinson at third. Go to first, a double play. Line drive to Robinson as they send Washington down, and he's doubled up. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This game coming to you on the Mutual Broadcasting System, American League Championship Network.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
This is the Southern Command Radio Network. an affiliate of the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
SCN, Canal Zone.
Hitter, 1 for 3 in the series. That's been a bunt single. Strike, low curve on the outside corner, 0-2. Well, those Baltimore fans really love that double play as they sent Washington down, but Fosse hit a line drive to Brooks Robinson, who threw back to Earl Williams at first for the double play. Jim Palmer delivers. Swing! And a foul ball. He got just enough of it to stay alive. So the count remains 0-2 to Dick Green.
Herb, the calling of that hit by pitch seems to awaken these fans. They were kind of dumb until then.
Quiet.
That made them mad.
No ball, 2-strike count to Dick Green from Rapid City, South Dakota. The pitch to the right-handed batter. Swing, here's a line drive into left field. Base hit for Dick Green. Belanger leaped for the ball, but it was about a foot over his glove. So Green is on with a base hit. There's the first hit of the afternoon. Green aboard, and it'll bring up Campaneris. Flying to right to Coggins in the first inning. Coggins almost misjudged the ball. The right field area here is very tough today. No clouds in the sky and a very bright blue sky. The light breeze out of the north blowing in from left. Throw over to first base and the wide throw. Earl Williams has to backhand that ball. Green aboard, a 2 out, no score. Green has not been much of a running threat over the years. He had a couple of stolen bases, that's all this year, and they strike call to Campaneris. Nothing at 1. Bert Campaneris, who had his finest year at the plate, batted .290 during the regular season. Baltimore playing him straight away. Williams holding with the runner. Fastball in there, strike. So for the most part, Palmer today has kept ahead of the Oakland batters. And that has certainly been true this inning. He was 0-2 to Claudel Washington. And Fosse at the first pitch. Green singled on a 2-strike pitch, and now he has Campaneris 0-2. Low for the ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be a rematch of the first game. Jim Catfish Hunter pitching for the A's. Mike Cuellar for Baltimore. Same air time tomorrow. Here's a ground ball to short. Belanger up with it over to Gretsch, and they force out Dick Green. 6-4 the play. No runs. 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. The score at the end of 2.5 innings. The A's nothing, the Orioles nothing.
Sal Bando, Joe Rudy, and Ray Fosse provided all the firepower on Sunday, while Kenny Holtzman pitched a masterful 5-hitter as Oakland shut out Baltimore 5-0 to square the American League playoff at 1 game apiece. Bando drilled a low liner over the left field fence in the 4th inning at Oakland Stadium. Joe Rudy tripled a run in the 6th inning as he banged one off the right center field wall. Both scores came off Baltimore starter and loser Dave McNally. Then in the 8th inning, the A's wrapped it up. Ray Fosse, who had earlier singled and doubled, hit a 3-run homer off reliever Grant Jackson, the Orioles' 3rd pitcher of the day. The Orioles, who had won the opener on Saturday 6-3, got only 1 man to second base against Holtzman, who kept them in check, striking out 3 batters and walking 2 with a beautiful mix-up of his speeds. 2 big double plays, including 1 in the 9th, plus 3 fine running catches by center fielder Billy North, prevented more trouble. A's manager Alvin Dark was enthusiastic about Holtzman's victory. He said Holtzman pitched 1 whale of a game, and we think we have the edge.
3rd game of the American League Championship Series from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Along with Dick Young, the well-known columnist for the New York Daily News and the Sporting News, this is Herb Carneal. And the plate umpire gets asking to see the baseball out there. Vida Blue tosses it up to Fosse. Gets looks it over, says it's okay, even for a championship game. Here is Earl Williams, big right-handed batting first baseman, sometimes catcher. Vida Blue delivers to him. The Riker fastball in there, 0-1 to Williams. Williams hitless in 3 at-bats in the series. Etchemerin on deck, Belanger to follow. No score in the game. And the pitch. Fastball had him swinging again. Blue really humped up on that one and got the hardest one he's thrown today.
That was in the catcher's mitt by the time he swung.
you know, I've noticed a couple of times, Nick, that this Williamson has swung late on fastballs.
He must be guessing wrong.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He swung in a wild one that time. And he was an easy strikeout for Vida Blue. Second strikeout for the A's left-hander.
The fans seem to be on Williams pretty good.
Earl Williams, who was with Atlanta a couple of years ago in a multiple-player deal, Orioles really gave up quite a few players to get him. They figured he'd give him a lot of power, and he has helped them, but I guess he never has quite reached the heights that they thought he would as a home run hitter. Of course, this is a lot tougher home run park than the Atlanta ballpark. Here's Andy Etchebarren, veteran catcher, 2 for 3 in the series. Fastball, and he whacks it foul upstairs on the first base side. 0-1 to Andy Etchebarren. Bright, sunshiny afternoon here at Baltimore for the third game of the series. And as most of the guys have been saying, well, now it's come down to a 2 out of 3. Whoever wins 2 games from here is going to be the winner. But on to the series. Swing and a miss by Etchebarren. An outside fastball from Vida Blue. Blue has retired the first 7 batters. 2 on strikes. Now he has Etchebarren 0-2. He delivers. Swing. Here's a fly ball into right field. It's going to be hard to reach. Watches it over there and makes the catch. Washington made a nice running catch. That ball was slicing towards the line, and of course they also had the bright sky and the sun to contend with. Pretty good catch, Dick.
He knew it was slicing, so he turned on some extra speed, and in so doing, almost overran the ball. That plus the sun really made it a tough chance out there in right field.
Here's Mark Belanger with 2 out of nobody on. Belanger hitless in 6 times up in the series. He was robbed of a hit on Sunday on a great running catch in center field by Bill Norris with a man on and 1 out early in the game, and that might have been the play that turned that whole game around. There's a swing and a foul back by Belanger. Etchebarren was on first with 1 out. Belanger drilled 1 to left center field. Norris, who plays him a little towards right center, made a fine running catch. Conceivably, had Norris not gotten to the ball, it might have been an inside the park homer. Belanger, who runs well, takes low and outside the ball, and it's 1-1. 2 gone and nobody on. We're in the last half of the 3rd inning. No score in the game. Here's the windup by Blue and the pitch on the way. Swing foul, right straight back, 1-2. Mark Belanger, who over the years has certainly been Mr. Consistency at shortstop for Baltimore. Very seldom makes what you would call a spectacular play, but day in and day out, you have to appreciate the job that he does. He doesn't hit for a big average as a rule, but pretty good bat control. He's an excellent punter. Good base runner. Now Blue doesn't like the baseball he has.
They're playing games with those Haitian baseballs down there. You've heard a lot of comment this year about the new baseballs where they're using cowhide instead of horsehide, and they get a little loose in the cover and they split and all kinds of difficulties.
There's a swing and a miss at a fastball, and Vida Blue turned it on and struck out Belanger, his 3rd strikeout. 3 perfect innings for Vida Blue. At the end of 3, Oakland nothing, Baltimore nothing.
The Dodgers went home 1 victory shy of their first National League pennant in 8 years Sunday after beating the Pirates for the 2nd day running at Pittsburgh's Three River Stadium. The Dodgers won 5-2 as Ron Say homered in the 4th inning and touched off a 3-run 8th inning explosion with a base hit, a double. The Dodgers, who blanked the Pirates 3-0 on Saturday in the opener of the best-of-5 sets, after losing all 6 regular season games in Pittsburgh, have moved on to Los Angeles and hope to wrap it up today in Game 3. Say, who has been a devastating hitter for the Dodgers all season, stands only 5'9", but he hits like he's 6'4". He went 4 for 5 Sunday with a solo homer, 2 doubles, and a single, and he was just coming off the flu as well. The Pirates, who were shut out for 6 innings by starter and winner Andy Messersmith, had scored twice in the 7th to tie the game, but the Dodgers quickly unsnapped it with the 8th inning eruption off loser Dave Justy, who had come on to relieve starter Jim Rooker. Mike Marshall, who made a record-setting 106 relief appearances this year, came in to shut the door on the Pirates in the final 2 innings at Three Rivers.
Well, at the end of 3 innings here at Memorial Stadium, The A's no runs, 1 hit and no errors, and Baltimore nothing across. So far, not even a hint of a score. Bill North leading it off, batting left against Palmer. He takes the cut and he misses. North struck out in the first inning. He'll be followed here by Bando and then Reggie Jackson. So far, Palmer has walked 1, hit 1, although he didn't think he hit anybody. That was Cordell Washington last inning, and then struck out 1. Swing and a foul down the left field line. 2 strikes to Bill North. Here's a fellow that the A's got from the Chicago Cubs a couple of winters back. In 1973, he started out as the designated hitter for Oakland. They kept him as the DH for about 12 games. And Dick Williams, who was managing Oakland, put him in the outfield, and they discovered this fellow is a fine outfielder. Fastball inside, 1-2.
They discovered he's no slouch with his fists either. He got in that famous bout with Reggie Jackson that kind of pepped up this ball club. Fights seem to do that to this ball club.
There's a fly ball hit into left field. Back towards the corner goes Baylor. He's there, and he makes the catch in the left field corner. If you hit a ball down the line here, you only have to go 309 to reach the wall. It's 14 feet high. And it's just, maybe 7 or 8 feet high once you get out into the straightaway left and right field areas and all around the center. 410 feet to center field. 360 to 370 in the straightaway slots. 380 to 90 in the power lanes. 410 to center. Here's Bando taking high for a ball. Bando grounded out to Bobby Grich in the first inning. No score. Top of the 4th. 1 out and nobody on. Bando, who chokes the bat, but as you know, has good power. 22 homers in the regular season and 1 in this series. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Palmer into the lineup, delivers. Low and outside a ball. That makes it 2-1 to Sal Bando. In 4 of the last 5 years with the Oakland club, Bando has led his team in runs batted in. Did it again this year with 103 knocked in. It's a high foul off to the left. It'll be out of play, and the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Just before the game, Earl Weaver was inside, and he heard that infield was about to start, and he grabbed his jacket and ran out to watch it. He said, "I got to watch infield. Maybe Bando will split a finger." In other words, he said it, of course, good-naturedly. But having Reggie Jackson in about 50% physical shape, he was just rooting for a little better luck.
Sal Bando, rated as one of the great clutch hitters. Here's the pitch from Palmer. Swing, and he scribs a foul off to the left of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oddly enough, when Bando hit the home run against Baltimore on Sunday at Oakland, it was the first homer against Baltimore he hit this year, but he had hit a home run against every other club in the league except Baltimore. But he'd hurt him a few times with a few singles and a double here and there. A change up, and he pulled it foul. Had him lunging at that one as Palmer pulled a string on him. That was fielded by Coach Bobby Winkles at third. Count remains 2-2 to Bando. They shade him to the left. A light breeze blowing in from left. There's not much of a wind, about 8 or 9 miles an hour. A foul back upstairs. The count rides along at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Until this year, Jim Palmer had been a 20-game winner for Baltimore in each of the last 4 years, reaching his peak last year when he won 22, lost 9, and of course won the Cy Young Award as the American League's outstanding pitcher. And the delivery. Swung on, lined in the left field. It is a foul ball. Hooking down the line and a foul.
That's in the corner there. We can't quite see the line. We lose the line in that corner. But I would guess that couldn't have been more than inches foul.
Very, very close. Veteran umpire Larry Knapp is calling him down the left field line today, and down the right field line is Jerry Neudecker. Pitch is low for the ball, so Palmer has a full count out of Bando, with 1 out and nobody on. Palmer, 6'3", about 190 pounds. He'll be 29 years old this month. There's a foul backing out of play. Still 3-2 to Bando.
Oddly enough, Herb, Jim Palmer hurt his arm in batting practice. Jim Fry was pitching to him on a cold day, hit one off the end of the bat, and somehow something damaged his ulnar nerve. That's the nerve that runs along the inside of the elbow.
Swing, here's a high drive into to left. If it stays fair, it's gone way back. It is a home run for Bando up into the left field seat. And Oakland has taken a 1-0 lead on Bando's second home run of the series. He pulled it down the line up into the left field seats over the 14-foot high wall. Oakland leading 1-0.
Our friend Charlie Finley leading his own private cheering section. He stands up waving his Oakland banners, and Miss California right alongside him waving hers.
Sal Bando, who hit a home run in the fourth inning Sunday, now has homered in the fourth inning here this afternoon, and Jackson up takes the strike. Jackson out short the first in the second inning. Bando hits the ball well. The only question was whether it might hook foul, but it stayed fair with something just fair down the left field line. A change-up low to Jackson, 1-1. So Oakland has put a run up there, lead now 1-0 here in the top of the fourth inning. Nerve is low to Jackson, 2-1. During the regular season, Palmer gave up 12 homers and 178 and 2/3 innings. Reggie Jackson at the plate. He's from Baltimore. His mother still lives here. There's a swing and a bouncer down to Williams. He knocks it down, picks it up, has no play. Earl Williams had the ball handcuffed him there as he went to his right, away from the bag, and never could pick it up. So an error for Williams at first base. Jackson is on. It'll bring up Joe Rudy. Fans following the American League Championship game on many of these same stations, you'll hear the third game of the National League Championship Series with Marty Brenneman and Bob Gibson reporting from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles.
Fans are really getting on Earl Williams. First for the strikeout and now for this error. You're hearing yelling like, get him out of there. Fans are tough managers.
All right, here's Joe Rudy. He lined out. The Baylor and left his first trip, takes one outside a ball. Baltimore made 2 errors on Sunday, which led to 4 unearned runs for the A's. Actually, only one of their runs scored by Oakland on Sunday was earned. Now we'll see whether this error by Williams opens any other gates for the world champion A's. Rudy bounces a foul down behind the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike to the A's left fielder Joe Rudy with Gene Tennis on deck. Sal Bando with his second series home run has put Oakland ahead 1-0 in the top of the fourth. Reggie Jackson on at first base. And the pitch. High, tight fastball leans Rudy back. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Jim Palmer, undefeated in American League Championship play. He is 4-0, 3-1 in the World Series. Bullpen action now for Baltimore. Right-hander Doyle Alexander begins to crank up. Here's the stretch and the pitch on the way. A high fastball, and Rudy went after it, but he fouled it off. It's like a pitch that he hit for a triple on Sunday to score a run. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count now to Rudy. Joe had 99 runs batted him during the regular season.
Ironically, it was Doyle Alexander who started the final game of last year's playoff, and it was Palmer who relieved.
Now the stretch, throw to first base. Jackson gets back. Jackson aboard with 1 out, top of the fourth inning. Stretch by Palmer, the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball to the left side, charged by Belanger, gloves it, throws to second, out. Good play by Belanger to get Reggie Jackson. Belanger had to come up on the infield grass to grab that roller, and he still was able to get his throw away to Critch to nail Jackson. I'm sure Jackson is not running at top speed.
He had a throw in back of him across his body, and that's always a tough play to make, and he got plenty on that throw.
Here's Gene Tennis now as Rudy becomes the runner with 2 out. Tennis hit a fly ball to Coggins, the right fielder, who caught it in right center in the second inning. Go to first base. Tennis gets back. Tennis pulled a delayed steal the other day. He noticed that both Belanger and Gritch were way off second base, and he made it with a head-first slide on a delayed steal. Foul ball. Straight back off the bat of Tennis. 1 strike to count. Rudy on first and 2 down. Williams holding with Rudy at first base. Field fanned off to the left. The Baltimore Orioles have staged a fantastic stretch drive, winning 28 of the last 34 to win the American League East. And Brooks Robinson, the veteran of the club, says without any question it was the toughest stretch drive that he had ever been in, but he said it didn't have a way of rejuvenating me. And they toss over to first base. Rudy gets back. During that stretch drive, Baltimore played 17 one-run games and won 14 of them. And the pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball. Hits down to Robinson. The peg to first base to Williams. He is out. Just retires aside. 1 run, 1 hit, the homer by Mando, 1 harmless error, and 1 left on. At the end of 3.5, it's Oakland 1, Baltimore nothing.
You heard a few moments ago Herb Carneal alluding to the fact that following the broadcast of this game between the Orioles and the Athletics, that Mutual would switch its facilities to the West Coast for the game between the Pirates and the Dodgers, Game 3 of the playoffs out at Dodger Stadium. However, the feed we'll be carrying today will not be the Mutual feed. We'll be carrying the Dodger Network with Vin Scully and Jerry Doggett. Now, as a courtesy to all the stations along the network and also those shortwave listeners who are listening around the world, at 2000 GMT, we will break away from this ball game, regardless of where it has progressed to bring you the live broadcast of the President's address before a joint session of Congress on the economy. You will not miss any portion of this ball game. We will come back after the President's speech, approximately 30, 40 minutes later, with the completion of this ball game, and then we will join the game between the Dodgers and the Pirates in progress at Dodger Stadium. And be advised to our shortwave listeners who are picking up the game on that facility, the facilities assigned for the baseball games will also be up for the press conference, the news conference, and the President's speech. And we will be back. There will be no break in the service from the baseball game to the President's address and then back to the baseball game to its completion at Baltimore. So you will not miss any of the action, even though we interrupt the game, regardless of where it is, at 2000 GMT today. Now, once again, here is Herb Carneal.
Rich Coggin's the only left-handed batter. He is actually replacing Enos Cabell, a right-handed batter who played on Sunday against Kineos. But as we mentioned earlier, Coggins is a good fastball hitter. More experience in the outfield. Takes Blue's fastball in for a strike. Coggins called out on strikes in the first inning. Blue has fanned 3 batters thus far. He winds up and delivers. Swing, and there's a chopper down the first base line. It goes foul halfway down. Seemed to hit the edge of the grass part of the infield there and a kick across the foul line about halfway down. Otherwise, Coggins, who could really fly, probably would have beaten that out. 0-2 the count to him. Baltimore in the American League Championship Series for the 5th time in the 6 years that they've had the Championship Series. Only missing in 1972 when Detroit was in it. Lost to Oakland 3-2.
Things are getting a little tougher for Baltimore in these series. In the first 3 I believe. They won 1, 2, 3.
That's right. They didn't lose a game. They won 9 straight. 3 in a row each year in 69, 70, and 71. Here's the pitch. Swinging and a miss by Coggins. Went for a high fastball. So Blue has struck out his 4th man. He has now fanned 3 of the last 4. Paul Blair. Blair grounded to short in the first inning. Oakland leading 1-0 in the last of the 4th inning on the home run by Sal Bando on a 3-2 pitch from Jim Palmer. Blair, right-handed batter. Blue delivers to him. Low for the ball. 1-0. Bobby Gritch on deck for Baltimore.
Oddly enough, Herb, Jim Palmer pitched the clincher in all 3 of those early series.
That's right. Swing and a foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Tomorrow will be Mike Cuellar and Catfish Hunter again. They hooked up in the first game at Oakland last Saturday. Series tied here at a game apiece. Into the lineup goes Vida Blue, the pitch. Swing, and here's a ground ball to third. Stab to his left by Bando. The throw to Tennis for the out. Good play by Bando. Hard hit ball. Bando to his glove side made the play. 2 gone, and here's Bobby Gritch thrown out by second baseman Dick Green in the first inning. Blue now has retired the first 11 batters to face him. Bobby Gritch, who hit 19 home runs. He went more for power this year than he did last, and the pitch is high to him for a ball. And Blue delivers. Change-up going on line to center of base hit. Blue throw a change-up. Bobby Gritch lined at the center for the first Baltimore hit, their first base runner of the afternoon. That'll bring up Tommy Davis, who grounded to Campaneris in the second.
Because Davis is an expert at the hit and run.
Earl Weaver, the Baltimore manager, he's not a great believer in the hit and run, but he does let Tommy Davis and also Brooks Robinson of Baltimore call their own hit and run situation. There's a half swing, rolled a strike on him. Nothing in 1 to Tommy Davis, and now Fawcett goes out to talk to Vida Blue. Time for the 4th game of the championship series here at Baltimore tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. 2 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow for game number 4. 1 strike to count to Tommy Davis. 2-time winner in the National League for the batting title at Los Angeles. Now that first pitch, first indicated by Getz, he called it a strike, but the scoreboard shows the ball. There he goes, and the pitch is fouled down and back. They were hitting and running, but Davis fouled it off.
I think they appealed to the first base umpire, and Dave Phillips said no swing on that.
Right. First, Getz indicated that he thought Davis might have swung on it, but then he did ask the first base umpire, Phillips. Well, the right-hander up there, sometimes the home plate umpire will ask the first base umpire. If it's a left-handed batter and he's in doubt about a half swing, he'll ask the third base umpire, who has the better look at it. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Tommy Davis. Gene Tennis holding with Gritch at first with 2 out. Oakland is leading 1-0. And the pitch on the way. Swing, and he hits the high foul, drifting over to the first base seat. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Tommy Davis drove in 84 runs for Baltimore, 2 more than Bobby Gritch to lead the Orioles in RBI. Davis had 181 hits. He came to bat 626 times during the regular season. Here's the pitch, throw over to first base. He's back in time.
Here's one man the DH rule is really made for. It's prolonged his career, and he can go on forever. Tommy Davis.
And a swing and a foul on the first base seat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brings up an interesting point. Should Baltimore win this series Dick, wonder what the role would be for Tommy Davis in the World Series.
Yeah, of course, they can't use the designated hitter in the World Series. No interleague games can use the designated hitter. And before the game, Reggie Jackson was talking about that. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Right now, Vida Blue with a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Tommy Davis. Bobby Gretsch leading at first with 2 out. Oakland ends the ball game with a 1-0 lead. A swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball. Davis
That
goes
was over his head. He really went for a bad pitch.
5 strikeouts for Vida Blue. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. The score now at the end of 4 is Oakland 1, Baltimore nothing.
Well, don't tell the New York Jets the Miami Dolphins are having an off year. The Dolphins jarred the Jets 21-17 Monday night at the Orange Bowl. It was their 3rd victory in 4 outings for the Super Bowl champions. But again, the Dolphins were struggling. Jet coach Charlie Winter commented as he headed for home. He said, "I think too many people, both in Miami and around the country, are looking for something to go wrong with Miami, but I don't see anything wrong with them. They're winning, aren't they?" Linebacker Ralph Baker of New York and running back Emerson Boozer were quick to agree. They said the Dolphins looked mighty good to them last night. Miami scored early and held on to down the New Yorkers. A very well-played, spirited contest. 14-0 was the lead at halftime, but the Jets came roaring back in the second half to make it 14-10. Hubert Ginn then iced the game with a 41-yard sprint off the right side of the Miami offensive line, and that proved to be the winning margin because Joe Namath fired his 2nd touchdown pass of the night, 89 yards, to Jerome Barkham, and that made it 21-17. And that was the final score as the Miami defense came up with 3 key interceptions in the second half to stave off possible defeat. Miami's victory boosted their record, as we said, to 3-1. The Jets, who are having a tough time getting on track, even though Namath had a big night with almost 300 yards, are now 1-3. Now let's get back to Baltimore.
Oakland leading 1-0 as they move along to the first half of the 5th inning. The A's will have the bottom third of the order coming up against Jim Palmer, Claudell Washington, Ray Fosse, and Dick Green. Oakland leading 1-0 on a homer by Sal Bando. With 1 out of the 4th inning, he hit a 3-2 pitch. He had fouled off quite a few pitches while he was up there. In fact, it was the 11th pitch to him on that last batting turn that he hit into the left field seat. Claudell Washington, he was grazed by a pitch ball on a 2-strike pitch. In the 3rd inning, the Orioles protested the ball didn't hit him, but he was awarded first. And then on the very next pitch, he went down, and Ray Fosse, the batter, lined it to Brooks Robinson, and Washington was doubled up. Palmer's fastball is high, ball 1. Palmer has walked 1, struck out 1. He delivers. Swing, and here's a ground ball, and it's into left field, a base hit. Claudell Washington. Sharp grounder between Robinson and Belanger through the hole. A base hit number 3 for Oakland. So they get the leadoff man on here in the top of the 5th. And Ray Fosse comes up. Boy, this fellow's really been swinging the bat well. Even last time he hit a line drive to Brooks Robinson. And he had 3 hits Sunday, including a 3-run homer. The 8th inning, as Kenny Holtzman said, really put me over the hump. Holtzman admitted he was getting just a little tired about the 8th inning, but then he had a 5-0 lead. And here's a bunt. Palmer slips off the mound, picks the ball up, though, and throws him out. Palmer, who's a very fine all-around athlete, almost fell down. He slipped but was able to keep his feet, make the play. A sacrifice, Palmer to Williams, Washington to second.
That's as fine a recovery as you'll see by a pitcher on a real tough chance. I don't think anybody that I know of except Bob Gibson could have made that play after slipping.
1-3 the play. So now Washington on second base, 1 down, and here is Dick Green. Green lined a single into left off a 2-strike pitch. In the 3rd inning, Dick Green 2 for 4 in the series, right-handed batter. Baltimore infield playing up 2 or 3 steps. Should they have a play on the runner, Washington. Washington has good speed. And Palmer delivers. Swing and a miss. 1 strike. Oakland leading first half of the 5th inning. Series all tied at a game apiece. Oakland with a 1-run lead here in the 5th inning, and the pitch is swung on by Green. 0-2 the count. Now Palmer waiting for Green to get in the batter's box, has him 2 2 strikes. Of course, Green got his base hit on a 2-strike pitch in the 3rd inning. Palmer checking Echeverria for the sign. Now the look back to second. Here's the pitch. A swing and a miss with a high fastball. Green goes now swinging. Palmer humps up on that one and got him with a hummer. So there were 2 gone. That'll be Bert Campaneris, who has flied to right and hit into a 6-4 fourth.
Palmer's fastball seems most effective when it's up high. He's buzzing that high, hard one past him.
Okay, here we go with Campaneris up 2 now. Washington leading at second. The pitch on the way. High for a ball. 1-0 to Campaneris. Campaneris 3 for 10 in the series, and he had all 3 of those hits in the first game on Saturday. And he drove in all 3 Oakland runs in Baltimore's 6-3 win. Lloyd Washington with a lead at second. Palmer into the stretch. And the pitch on the way. It is low. Yanosha didn't swing. Now it's 2 balls and no strikes to Campaneris. These 2 clubs were all even on the air. They split the 12 games, and oddly enough, each won 4 in the other's part. Oakland was 4-2 here at Baltimore. Baltimore was 4-2 at Oakland. A foul by Campaneris back to the screen. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Baltimore has 2 men up now, Herb. That's Grant Jackson, left-hander out there, and the right-hander is still Doyle Alexander.
Not too often, as I recall, Dick, that I've seen Jackson up and throwing this early in the game. Usually he's the real late man. Fastball high outside. So now Palmer falls behind 3-1.
The deeper you get into these playoff games, the more extreme your moves become because the tomorrows become fewer and fewer.
Well, Palmer behind now to Bert Campaneris. 3 balls and 1 strike. Claudel Washington, the runner at second. 2 down, and Oakland leading 1-0 first half of the 5th inning. Palmer steps off the rubber. Shade Campaneris to the left. Now was stretched by the tall right-hander. Palmer's pitch on the way, and a swing and a miss. Funky. Looked like a slider. We were at a slight angle here off to the left of the plate, but it looked like a slider away from Campaneris. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Palmer hasn't been throwing quite as many sliders since his arm trouble. He said he cut down through the season, and now that his arm feels better, he's getting back to throwing them a little bit more.
And the payoff to Campaneris is swung on. Here's a fly ball into left center field. Blair, the center fielder, over under it in left center. Blair has it, and the side is out. Put on for the center fielder. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on. Well, the score is Oakland 1, Baltimore nothing at the end of 4.5 innings.
Right now, with the game between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets in the bank, let's have a look at the NFL standings as the teams get ready for another big weekend next Sunday. In the East, in the American Conference, New England continues to be the big surprise. The Patriots at 4-0, and they are one of 3 teams with unbeaten records, the other 2 St. Louis and Minnesota. Buffalo trails New England by a game at 3-1 in the East. Then it's Miami 3-1. They're in a tie with the Bills. The Jets are 1-3, and the Baltimore Colts, who are really having their problems, at 0-4. The Central Division leader in the AFC is Cincinnati with a 3-1 record. Pittsburgh, which is having trouble scoring points, is now 2-1-1. Houston and Cleveland are 1-3. In the AFC West, Oakland leads with a 3-1 record. Kansas City is 2-2. Denver, which figured to be a very strong contender in the West, is off to a rugged start, 1-2-1. And San Diego in the cellar at 1-3. The National Conference leader, as we said, is St. Louis in the East with a 4-0 record. Philadelphia 3-1. Washington 2-2. Dallas and the Giants are 1-3. And when was the last time Dallas lost 3 games in a row? Well, they've done it this year. It's the first time they have dropped 3 straight since 1965. The Central Division leader is Minnesota with that thrilling victory over Dallas on Sunday. Their record at 4-0. Green Bay and Chicago are both 2-2. And Detroit, which is not a bad ball club despite the fact that they are in the cellar, the Lions at 0-4. In the West, the LA Rams are the leaders with a 3-1 record. San Francisco is 2-2. And New Orleans and Atlanta both having trouble putting points on the board. New Orleans and the Falcons are both 1-3. And on Monday night, in case you missed it again, Miami held off the New York Jets 21-17 to round out the weekend's action. So it's still New England, St. Louis, and Minnesota unbeaten in the early going. And, of course, Minnesota is no surprise in that category. They are strong, but St. Louis and New England are definitely eyebrow raisers in that department.
Okay, Marty, one out here for Baltimore. Don Baylor took a strike and then hit a sharp smash back to Blue. Made a good play to get it to first base. And now Brooks Robinson up. Takes a strike and it's 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Don Baylor is flying to left his first time up in the second. Then he hit back to Blue here to lead off this inning. Brooks Robinson up now, fly to center in the second. Now Blue has him 0-2. The swing and a ground ball to the glove side of Green. He boots the ball. Robinson is on.
Chance, but you still expected him to have it. And they're scoring at an error. He did get to the ball. He had to go quite a distance. It could have been called either way.
Oh, Brooks Robinson is on. Each team now has been charged with an error. That's going to bring up the big first baseman, Earl Williams. That is the first error made by Oakland in the series. Williams struck out in the third inning. Big guy hit 14 home runs during the year for Baltimore, most of them coming down the stretch. He swings at the fly ball at the right field. Washington there makes the catch. He hardly had to move. Washington playing him in just the right spot. So Williams lines to right, 2 gone. And Etchebarren up. Washington made a good grab of Etchebarren's slicing drive down the right field line in the third inning. Oakland leading here 1-0 on the homer by Sal Bando in the fourth inning. Oakland 1, Baltimore 0. Now we're in the last of the fifth inning with 2 down and Brooks Robinson on at first. Green coming in to say something to Vida Blue. Blue has not walked a batter today, and he has struck out 5. Right into batting Andy Etchebarren, who has a rookie in 1966. Did a lot of catching on the Orioles World Championship team. They won the American League pennant and surprised the baseball world by beating the Dodgers 4 in a row in the series. Swing and a miss by Etchebarren, 1 strike. Fastball away from him, and it's 0-1. Gene Tennis holding with Brooks Robinson, who is, you fans will know, not a threat to run. Here's the stretch by Blue and the pitch on the way. Swung on, a drive into right field. Here comes Washington, and he makes the catch. Again, Etchebarren lines out to Washington in right field. For Baltimore, no runs, no hits. 1 Oakland error. And at the end of 5 innings of play here at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, it's the A's 1, the Orioles 0.
Well, we can give you a progress report. Of course, the game hasn't started yet out at Dodger Stadium, but they expect a sellout crowd of over 55,000. And the weather is still partly cloudy to cloudy out there, but right now the threat of rain has diminished, according to the latest report on the wire. The Milwaukee Bucks have been hit where it hurts the most. Their star center, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, has a disabling injury, and no one in the league is about to help the Bucks out. General Manager Wayne Embry says, even when you're healthy, people don't want to trade with you and help you. Now people feel that with Kareem out, it's to their advantage. Abdul-Jabbar was hospitalized on Monday, and team officials are more concerned over his eye injury than the broken bone in his right hand. The 7'2" center was poked in the left eye by Boston's Don Nelson in an exhibition game on Saturday and became so upset he slammed his hand against the backboard support and he broke it. Doctors say the bones show good alignment and are expected to heal successfully, but they expect Abdul-Jabbar to miss from 1 to 4 weeks of the regular season. But it's his eye that they're really worrying about, a scratched cornea.
Well, so far through the first 5 innings, Vida Blue has thrown only 51 pitches, and of course at that pace, he would throw less than 100 pitches in a game. Palmer has thrown 67. Average number of pitches for a well-pitched 9-inning game is somewhere between 110 and 120. Now Palmer completes his tune-up contest. As we start the 6th inning, it'll be Bill Norris, Sal Bando, and Reggie Jackson for Oakland.
Herb, I don't know how many of our listeners have ever seen a game in Baltimore, but they have cute little blonde ball girls here who run out with a broom in the middle of the game and sweep off the bags and sweep off some of the players' shoes. and then do it to either an umpire or to a coach and wind up hitting him in the behind with the broom, or in this case with Bobby Winkle sweeping more dirt on him than they take off.
A line drive to Robinson for the out. North had struck out, fly to left at the first pitch, a liner to Brooks Robinson. Second and homered his second homer of the series in the fourth inning. And he takes the ball outside for Palmer. 1 ball and no strike. Here's the windup by Palmer. The pitch on the way. Swung on and a ground ball to Palmer. He has it. Throws it over to Williams. They get Bando. 1-3 to play. 2 down. Nobody on in the 6th. Oakland leading 1-0. And here's Reggie Jackson. He is grounded to short and reached on an error by Williams, the first baseman. Reggie Jackson, the DH, not playing in right field because they're afraid that he will further injure that pulled right hamstring muscle. Palmer has given up 3 hits, walked 1, hit 1, and struck out 2. Temperature around 60 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, bright, sunshiny day. Jackson takes the ball from Jim Palmer, ball 1. Tomorrow, Mike Cuellar duels Jim Catfish Hunter in the 4th game of the series. On many of these same stations, we'll be on the air at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Pitch is low, ball 2. So it's 2-0 to Reggie Jackson. Interesting to note that normally Jackson, they play him to pull, especially against the right-handed pitcher. There's a foul, 2-1. But the outfield for Baltimore now is actually fanned the opposite way around towards left center, and that's the way that Palmer has been pitching Jackson. Twice Jackson has hit the ball to the shortstop, Belanger.
I think, Herb, that they believe that leg has affected his hitting to the point where he can't get around on the ball.
2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the windup by Jim Palmer, the pitch on the way. Strikes a fastball in there. 2-2 the count. Palmer just reared back and challenged him with a fastball that time. Now the count is all even at 2-2. Low for the ball. Well, Palmer runs the string out now, 3-2. Here's the windup by Palmer, the pitch. Swung on a ground ball, hit near second base. Backhanded by Grit. The throw, he got him! What a play! Play by Grit, backhanded it behind second and got Jackson at first base. So at the end of 5.5 innings, the score, the A's 1, the Orioles 0.
The World Junior Middleweight Champion, Oscar Alvarado of Los Angeles, Tuesday night stopped challenger Rikyu Soromachi of Japan at 2:17 of the 7th round of their scheduled 15-round title match in Tokyo. Referee Dick Young of Los Angeles stopped the bout on the advice of Dr. Yukio Yoshida, the physician for the Japanese boxing division. The 26-year-old Alvarado had scored 3 mandatory 8-count knockdowns against Soromachi, once in each the 2nd, 5th, and 7th rounds. He was much the heavier puncher in the toe-to-toe exchanges, which sent a 9,000 crowd into a frenzy at times. Soromachi, who was observing his 27th birthday, failed in his 2nd crack at the title, but he startled the crowd when he made a brilliant effort in the 1st round, reddening the champion's face with furious left jab. Alvarado, however, began using his stronger left jab in the 2nd round, and he scored his first knockdown with a short left to Soromachi's jaw and controlled the heavier blows from that point on.
Great play by Bobby Gritch, and Dick. Reggie Jackson was limping noticeably there as he ran that one out.
Yes, sir. Not to take anything away from Grinch, who went far behind second for that ball, but he would not have thrown out Reggie Jackson if Jackson had not been hurried. And as Jackson ran across the bag, he was hopscotching on one leg to prevent further injury to that right leg.
Here's Mark Belanger, the Baltimore shortstop. He struck out in the third inning. One of 5 strikeouts for Blue in the game, and there's a strike call to even it up at a 1-1. Rich Coggins on deck. Paul Blair to follow. Here's the windup by Blue and a pitch on the way. And the ball is pointed. He pointed it too hard. All right to Tennis, who makes the play at first base. Belanger trying to push the ball to the right side, but he punted it right at Tennis, and he got a lot more wood than he wanted to on it. So he's on to Tennis unassisted, and that'll bring up Coggins, who has struck out twice, called once, and swinging once. Coggins, the only left-handed batter in the Baltimore lineup. Blue has walked none and struck out 5, and the only hit off him, a 2-out single in the 4th by Bobby Gritch. The only other runner, Brooks Robinson, in the 5th, reached on an error with 1 out. Neither got beyond first. It's low for the ball. 1-0 to Coggins. Swing, fly ball hit into left field, but Rudy is out there waiting for this one, and he has it for the out. Coggins an opposite field fly to Joe Rudy. 2 gone in the Baltimore 6th. And up steps Paul Blair. He has grounded to short and grounded to third. Two gone and nobody on. Last of the 6th inning here from Memorial Stadium, Baltimore. Oakland with Bando's homer in the 4th, the only run of the ball game. Here's the pitch to Blair. Swing and a miss. 1 strike. On the way. Swung on, he popped it up. Back in the shallow right goes Green, and he makes the catch. He kind of turned his back halfway on the infield to get out of the glare of the sun that time, so the Blues retired the Orioles in order. And at the end of 6, it's Oakland 1, Baltimore 0.
Well, as you know, many players in the National Football League already have announced intentions of jumping over to the World Football League next year, but now a lot of them are beginning to have second thoughts about that maneuver because there may not be a league to jump to. 2 World Football League teams will not see action tonight or probably ever again because of financial trouble. The 2 are the Jacksonville Sharks and the Detroit Wheels. Maybe even out of the league for keeps unless new financial backing is found quickly. At any rate, their scheduled opponents will now take on each other. That means the Florida Blazers out of Orlando will play the Fire in Chicago tonight. Other World Football League games slated for Tuesday night, Memphis at Charlotte, that's the former New York Stars, and the Hawaiians are at Philadelphia. Shreveport, which used to play out of Houston, now known as the Steamers, will visit the Southern California Sun on Thursday night. Make that Wednesday night. So things are not looking too well financially in the World Football League, and admittedly, the league says 2 or 3 other franchises are also in a lot of financial problems.
Well, at the end of 6 now, Oakland leading by a score of 1-0. Line of Blue extremely sharp. So far in this game, he has not walked a batter. He's thrown only 58 pitches. Jim Palmer's been just about as good, except for that 1 home run by Bando in the 4th inning, the only run of the game. Joe Rudy, the left fielder, leading it off. Rudy has lined to left it into a short to second force, on which Belanger, the Baltimore shortstop, made a fine play in the 4th inning. Rudy takes a swing and he misses. 1 strike. Oakland a run on 3 hits, 1 error. Baltimore no runs, 1 hit and 1 error. Here we are in the first half of the 7th inning. Rapidly paced ball game. Right-handed batting Joe Rudy. Baltimore shades him to the left. Swing, foul, first base side up for deck. 2 strikes to Rudy. Tennis and Washington to follow.
Joe Rudy has the title of the most underrated ball player in the American League. He can do it all, and I do know for a fact that the Mets have made several attempts at buying him, but Charlie Finley doesn't seem to be too interested in money right now.
Getting in a little throwing for the Oakland A's, Johnny Odom, a right-hander, and Darrell Knowles, a left-hander out beyond the right field fence in the visiting bullpen. Here's the pitch from Palmer. See, right on the outside corner, and Joe Rudy didn't like rough throw on Jim Palmer. On the outside edge. There's Gene Tennis, who is fly to right and grounded to third. Baltimore plays this fellow to pull. And a curve is blowing outside. Ball one. Oakland leading 1-0 in the first half of the 7th inning. A very clear, crisp afternoon here in Baltimore. Temperature around 60 degrees. Palmer's fastball high and wide. Ball 2 and no strikes to Gene Tennis. A swing and a miss. He gave it the home run cut. Going after that 2-0 pitch, and now it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Tennis, who hit 26 homers during the regular season, drove in 73 runs. Fouls it back. It's 2-2 now, although he batted only .211. That's a lot of runs production for a .211 hitter. And he did lead the league in walks with 110. 1 out, nobody on. All even on the count to Tennis, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Etchebarren hangs the sign out for Palmer. Here's the pitch on the way. And it's high, a ball. 3-2 the count. Palmer's given the 1 free ticket the first. That was when the pitch grazed Claudell Washington in the 3rd inning. He's walked none, struck out 3, and given up the 3 hits. Single by Green in the 3rd. Bando's homer in the 4th. A single by Claudell Washington in the 5th. 3-2 right now to Washington, the on-deck man. There's the wind-up by Palmer, the pitch. Swing, foul ball, right straight back in the upper deck. They have 2 large decks here at Memorial Stadium with a mezzanine in between the 2 big decks. Then they have 1 single deck of stands out in left field and right field, but no seats in center. The pitch is blowing outside, and there's the first walk of the ball game as Tennis goes to first. Well, it's just amazing how many bases on balls Gene Tennis does get. Claudell Washington now hit by that disputed pitch in the 3rd inning. The Orioles didn't think it hit him, but he was awarded first by Russ Guest, and then he singled through the hole on the ground between Robinson and Belanger in the 5th inning. It's the 3rd walk that Gene Tennis has had in this series. Herb Washington coming out to run for Tennis. The designated runner, although Charlie Finley likes to refer to him as his designated stealer. But he was thrown out trying to steal on Sunday.
As Herb Washington started out of the dugout, Gene Tennis threw his head back in disgust. He's really sore about being taken out. He just threw his helmet on the floor of the dugout, and it bounced out onto the field. Charlie Finley has just made another man miss.
Washington, who does nothing but run for the Oakland A's. He was thrown out trying to steal on Sunday. Throw over to first base by Palmer. 1 man is out. Oakland leading 1-0 in the 7th. Left-handed batting Claudell Washington up. Palmer to the stretch. Steps off the rubber, makes no throw. Stretch by Palmer. And his pitch. Washington takes blown outside a ball. 1-0 the count. In the regular season, Herb Washington attempted to steal 45 times, was successful 29 and thrown out 16 times. 29 out of 45. And he's 0 for 1 as a runner in the series. Here's the pitch. There he goes. The pitch is high. Etchebarren throw is hit high. They got him.
this thing, and that's what you wasted me for. Now he's out of the game just because Finley had to have his favorite gimmick, Herb Washington, in there pinch running.
Swing and a miss by Claudel Washington. The batter is 2-1. That play went from Ed Severn to Bobby Grich. Herb Washington going in head first, but he was out. No doubt about it. And so he is now 0 for 2 as a pinch runner in this championship series. Oakland leading 1-0 in the 7th. 2 gone and nobody on. Palmer's pitch. Swing, drive into center field. Blair going back and makes the catch. A knuckleball pipe-liner at Blair, a great center fielder, made it look easy. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left. And this championship game outscored is Oakland 1, Baltimore nothing at the end of 6.5 innings.
Well, they're going to be talking about that move for quite a while. Evidently, Alvin Dark under pressure from the owner of the ball club, Charles O'Finley, who was sitting right behind the Oakland dugout, taking Gene Tennis out, and on the monitor, just out of the corner of it, as was pointed out by Dick Young, Tennis went to the dugout after being substituted for by Herb Washington and slammed his helmet into the corner of the dugout. Not too happy with that move, and in retrospect now, it doesn't make much sense with Washington being thrown out trying to steal second. And that is not Alvin Dark's type of baseball, so it probably was on orders from owner Charles Finley. And Dark said at the beginning of the year when he took over as manager that if Mr. Finley wanted him to make a move, so be it. He's the owner, and he's calling the shots, and I will do everything I can to cooperate with Mr. Finley. Well, Washington, after being called out at second, argued for a few minutes. That's why you heard some booing. But it'll be interesting to see now if Baltimore comes back and ties this game up or goes ahead. That bat of Gene Tennis will be sorely missed. After all, it produced 26 home runs and a lot of RBIs during the regular season. So we'll see if it comes back to hurt the Oakland Athletics as they lead in this ball game by a score of 1-0. Let's pause briefly for station identification.
At 790 and 1420, this is American Forces Radio.
SCN, the Bell Zone.
They're really worked up.
Bobby Grich leads it up, and the strike is called. Jim Holt, H-O-L-T, Holt now at first base for Oakland.
Usually when the home team is losing in one of these games, things are pretty quiet and glum. But these Baltimore fans are really whipped up.
Bobby Grich, only hit for Baltimore today, takes another strike from Bida Blue, and it's 0-2. Grich grounded to second in the first inning. Single to center in the fourth.
Herb, they seem to take things that Finley does, like that pinch run at the heart. They take them as personal insults.
Fastball is low, 1-2. Oakland, of course, the only team in baseball with a player who does nothing but run. And the pitch on the way to Grich. High fastball, the count is 2-2. Oakland leading 1-0, last of the 7th inning. Tommy Davis on deck and Don Baylor to follow for Baltimore. Outfield towards left-hand Grich. Blue delivers. Swing, here's a line drive right at Dick Green. Bobby Grich lines out to Green at second. 1 gone in the 7th. Here's Tommy Davis. He's grounded to short, struck out.
And you notice, Herb, when Herb Washington goes into second base, he goes in as a rule head first, hands first. That's to protect his valuable legs. Once in a while he does slide in. He did it the other day, and he took a big chunk out of Baker's knee.
Right.
Needed 4 stitches.
Frank Baker, who had gone in after Belanger, was lifted for a pinch hitter. Tommy Davis up now. Vida Blue delivers to him. They swing a foul, back it out of play. One strike to Tommy Davis. Today's game at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Herb Carneal with Dick Young of the New York Daily News and the Sporting News. There's the pitch on the way and a strike on the outside corner, a fastball from Vida Blue. Davis not too happy with the call of Russ Getz, the plate umpire. Now the count is 2 strikes. Vida Blue, who, as we were talking earlier, has had some control trouble earlier this year and during the regular season, as a matter of fact, but he has not walked a batter. Right now he's ahead of Tommy Davis. No balls and 2 strikes as he takes a sign from Ray Fosse. 1 out and nobody on. Oakland ahead 1-0. The pitch on the way. Swing, foul, sliced off to the right. Davis just protecting the plate on the 2-strike pitch. Raleigh Fingers now beginning to heat up out in the bullpen for Oakland. He's just throwing very casually at the moment. Look at where Dick Green's playing. He's about 4 or 5 steps back on the outfield grass, the second base. Swing and a foul again. He went for a pitch. That's like the pitch he struck out on, Dick, the last time.
It's unusual to see Tommy going for so many bad pitches. He looks a little too anxious up there.
Still on 2. Don Baylor on deck. Tommy Davis, who led Baltimore in runs batted in with 84, 2 more than Bobby Grich. Now waiting on a 2-strike pitch from Vida Blue. Baltimore's had only 2 base runners, one of those on an error. Nobody's been beyond first. Swing, another foul. This time back to the screen. So the count remains 2 strikes to Tommy Davis. The series even at a game apiece. Best of 5 series. Winner, of course, representing the American League in the World Series. Foul ball on the first base side upstairs. And again, Davis fouling that 2-strike pitch off. Davis struck out only, and I say only 49 times this season, because he was at bat over 600 times. Swing a high foul off first base. Jim Holt running over towards the seat, and he can't get it. 6 or 7 rows back in there. Well, that's 7 pitches to Tommy Davis, and all of them strikes. It's still nothing in 2. Tomorrow will be Jim Catfish Hunter going against Mike Cuellar. Airtime on many of these same stations for game number 4 tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Oakland ahead, 1-0 on a 4th-inning homer by Sal Bando on a 3-2 pitch from Palmer. Deleted in the left field seat. 2-strike delivered to Davis. Swing a high fly ball to short right. Dick Green, the second baseman, backpedaling. Green makes the catch, and there are 2 gone. Tommy Davis bumps the Green. Don Baylor is flying to left, and he hits back to Vida Blue in the 5th inning. Right-hander batting Don Baylor. September the 2nd till the end of the season. This fellow hit at a 391 clip this year. Takes outside a ball, and now Fosse wants to talk to Vida Blue.
When Baltimore came into New York late in the season, Don Baylor was just chatting with some of the newspaper men, and he said, we're going to win the rest of the games. I think they had about 14 to play at the time, and they darn near did it. They won about 13 of those last 14 games, and he was a big factor.
Ended up with 9 in a row, 28 out of their last 34, of course. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He had a good cut, but didn't get it. Well, we certainly want to say hello to our listeners. 350 stations worldwide of American Forces Radio Network. Whether you're in London, Rome, Tokyo, or on a ship at sea, a warm greeting from us here in Baltimore. Pitch is low for a ball. 2-1 now to Baylor. Two gone and nobody on. Baltimore has not been able to muster any kind of an offense since the 5th inning of the first game Saturday at Oakland. Swing, and he missed. 2-2. All even on the count to Don Baylor. Now Russ gets out to clean off home plate. Vida Blue now has retired the last 7 batters. In fact, he would have an even bigger string except for an error by Dick Green that allowed Brooks Robinson to reach with 1 out in the 5th inning. 2 out here, nobody on. Even count to Baylor. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They play him to the left. Fastball swung on, line to right field, and it's in for a base hit. Washington has to play it on the mound. Opposite field single for Don Baylor. Dick, I think it gives you a pretty good idea of what a good fastball Vida Blue has today, because the Orioles are simply not pulling the ball at all against it.
That's right, and you've got some pretty big, strong hitters on this club, and they're just not getting around on him. I haven't seen Vida fuss. I don't see Vida that often, but I haven't seen him this fast since 1971 when he had that fabulous freshman year with 24 victories.
Don Baylor aboard with a 2-out single. Just the 2nd Baltimore hit, and here is Brooks Robinson up. Brooks is fly to center, reached on an error by Dick Green in the 5th inning. In the series, Robinson 1 for 8. That was a home run. Go to first by Blue, and Baylor gets back. Don Baylor, who is an excellent base runner, he had 29 stolen bases in the regular season out of 41 attempts. Both these teams have excellent speed. Another throw by Blue, and he's back in time. Baylor had 29 stolen bases. Paul Blair and Rich Coggins 26 for Baltimore. Mark Belanger 17. Bobby Grich also had 17 stolen bases for Baltimore. There he goes. Here's the strike. Fosse throws low. He is out. A great pickup by Green. Dick Green dunked the ball out of the dirt. A beautiful pickup by Green to get Don Baylor. 2 for the play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. The score at the end of 7 here at Baltimore. The A's won. The Orioles nothing.
Well, this is quite a pitching duel between Vida Blue and Jim Palmer, and there's only been one mistake in the ball game, the home run of Sal Bando in the 4th inning. Well, a motion to subpoena sportscaster Howard Cosell was argued Monday in U.S. District Court up in Buffalo, New York. The case involves a man who was charged with threatening to blow up Cosell during a Monday night football game a year ago. 28-year-old Marion Patko of Lackawanna, New York, is accused of mailing the threat to Cosell on a postcard last year. Batko's attorney, Samuel Perla, argued the subpoena motion before Judge John Curtin in Buffalo Monday. Batko was arrested by federal authorities after the postcard was intercepted by postal officials and allegedly traced to the defendant. Perla, the lawyer, said what he called Cosell's abrasive personality and obnoxious character invite attacks. Perla said he makes money this way. Curtin served reserved decision on the subpoena and whether to order Cosell to appear in the court in the future. Now let's get back to Herb Carneal.
Very close play at second base to get Baylor, and a fine play by Dick Green on the tag.
Yes, that was a tough play. He had to dig the ball out, and it was on the other side of the bag. He had to not only make the pickup, but come across the bag for the tag. Don Baylor did not think he was out. He said so to the umpire and threw his helmet pretty angrily to the ground on the way to left field.
So at the end of 7, Oakland still leading 1-0. That 4th inning horror by Sal Bando, the only run of the ball game. Here come the A's in the 8th inning with Fosse, Green, and Campaneris to face Jim Palmer. Oakland, a run on 3 hits, 1 error. The Orioles, no runs, just 2 hits, both singles and 1 error. Ray Fosse is lined into a double play. Robinson to the first baseman, Earl Williams, and he had a sacrifice bunt in the 5th inning. Right-handed batting Ray Fosse, who was out for quite a while this year after an operation for a disc problem at the base of the neck. Hits the check swing roller to Williams, and he makes the play. Fans early on dig Earl Williams. He made an error early in the game, and that time Fosse didn't mean to hit the ball, but rolled it softly near the bag, and Williams made the play. One gone, and that'll bring up Dick Green, who made that fine tag on Baylor to retire Baltimore in the lineup to the 7th. Green is single to left, and he struck out on a fastball from Palmer in the 5th inning. There's a swing and a fly ball going into left field, not very deep. Baylor in towards the line, makes the catch. Green fires to left, 2 gone. From Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, this is Herb Carneal along with the well-known sports columnist for the New York Daily News, Dick Young. With 2 out in the 8th inning, Bert Campaneris will come up for Oakland. He is flying to right, hit into a force out, short to second, and fly to center.
You know, in the old days, Herb, if they caught a ball with one hand in the outfield, as Don Baylor just did, as so many outfielders do, they'd have been called a hot dog by the other players and razzed out of the league, actually. But in the old days, they had small gloves. And nowadays, the managers say, any way it's comfortable, you catch the ball. 1 hand, 2 hands, any way you please.
Here's Bert Campaneris now with 2 out and nobody on. Try to... Some of the guys say it is easier to catch the ball with just the glove hand now. Here's the strike call to Campaneris 0-1. Palmer lines up, delivers. Pop up. Left side of the infield, Brooks Robinson. Belanger now, shortstop. Belanger makes the catch right behind Brooks near third base. Shortstop for the put out. 3 up and 3 down. The score at the end of 7.5 innings here at Baltimore is the Oakland A's 1, the Baltimore Orioles 0.
Well, the game at Los Angeles will be getting underway shortly, and the starting lineups for that ball game are now in. Pittsburgh will go with Rennie Stennett at second base. Manny Sanguin will bat second and do the catching. Al Oliver will be in center field batting third. Willie Stargell will hit cleanup in left field. Richie Zisk is in right field. Bob Robertson at first base. Richie Hebner at third base. Chico Mendoza is the shortstop, and the pitcher batting ninth is Bruce Thiessen. For the Dodgers, Davey Lopes will open up at second base. Bill Buckner will be the left fielder. Jimmy Wynn will bat third and center. Garvey will be at first base hitting cleanup. Willie Crawford will bat fifth in right field. Ron Say will hit sixth at third base. The catcher is Joe Ferguson hitting seventh. Bill Russell is the shortstop hitting eighth. And on the mound will be Doug Rao doing the pitching. That game will be underway shortly, and we'll keep you up to date on what's occurring.
Last half of the 8th inning here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Sal Bando's 4th inning homer for Oakland, the only run of the game thus far, and Brooks Robinson at the plate now to lead off the 8th inning for Baltimore. He was up there when Baylor was on stealing for the final out last inning. Brooks Robinson, who is fly to center, reached on Dick Green's error at second. Fly to blue into the windup. The first pitch. Swing. He pops it high in the air off first base. Jim Holt running over there. First baseman will not be able to get it. Just back in the box seat. And it's one strike to Brooks Robinson with Earl Williams on deck and Andy Etchebarren to follow. Fly to blue has not walked a batter. He has struck out 5. He has never won a championship series game or a World Series game. Robinson hits a high fly ball to right. Claudell Washington coming in for it. He's under it and takes it for the out. Brooks Robinson flies to right. One down in the 8th inning. And Earl Williams has struck out, line to right. Blues pitch to him. Fastball outside of ball. 1-0. And the Etcheburn on deck. Oakland 1, Baltimore nothing. Last of the 8th inning. Fastball. It's low outside. It's ball 2. One of the few times today that Blue has been behind anybody. 2-0 to Earl Williams. They play him a little bit around to the left, although Baltimore's not been pulling today against Blue. He takes a big swing and misses. 2-1. Blue kept the ball down on him, though.
That's a real sign of respect that they have for this, Williams, because, as you say, Vida Blue's been very fast. They haven't been getting around, and yet they are severely pulled over for Earl Williams.
2 balls, 1 strike. And the pitch. A foul back upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Baltimore with 8 right-handed batters. The only right-handed batter to hit a fly ball to the left field today is Don Baylor in the 2nd inning. Coggins hit one in the 6th to the left fielder, Joe Rudy, but Coggins is a left-handed batter. Pitch is high and outside to Williams. So Blue now with a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Well, looking back, I think this is probably the first 3-ball count he's had today, and a fastball over on the next pitch for strike 3. That was the first 3-ball count that Vida Blue has had in the ball game, and then he got Williams with a fastball looking. His 6th strikeout of the afternoon. So there were 2 down, and here's Etcheburn. He lined out to Washington, the right fielder, on a running catch near the line in the 3rd inning, and then lined out to him again in the 5th inning. Oakland leading 1-0, last of the 8th inning. Baltimore with 4 outs left here in game number 3. Blue delivers. Fastball high and outside. Ball 1. A good part of the day, Vida Blue has simply been overpowering. He's got a great fastball. The left-handed wind, here it is. Very high and over the head of Fonte to the backstop. And it's ball 2 and those strikes to Etcheburn. Dave McNally getting loose in the Baltimore bullpen. He will pitch probably on Thursday if there is a 5th game. Wes Stock, the pitching coach, coming out to talk to Vida Blue.
I believe, Herb, that they're just afraid that Blue might lose his concentration, that something like that, a ball getting away from him, pitch getting away and flying back to the screen, might upset him. And therefore, Bando came over and said something. Wes Stock came out of the dugout to say something.
That's really amazing, though, isn't it, Dick and fans, that Blue, not known as a control pitcher, did not have a 3-ball count in the game until he went 3-2 on Williams. Here's the pitch to Etcheburn. Swing, fly ball, hit the deep center field. Way back goes North. Way back at the fence. He has it. The 4-10 sign in center field. Bill North hauling in the long drive off the bat of Etcheburn to retire the side. Well, will he score Oakland?
Well, the score now going to the 9th inning. Oakland 1, Baltimore nothing. Quite a duel between Blue and Palmer. We'd like to remind you that whether the ball game is over or not, at 2000 GMT, these facilities will cut away to join the live presentation of the presidential address before a joint session of Congress on the economy. That is expected to run anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes, the president's address before the joint session of Congress. But fear not, you will miss none of the ball game if we have to leave in the 9th inning or, as the case may be, extra innings or whatever. Wherever the ball game is, that's where we'll pick it up again, so you will not miss an out or a pitch on what transpires in this game between Oakland and Baltimore. Very important, as the series is tied at 1 game apiece, and at the moment, Oakland leading Baltimore 1-0. Then when we're through with the game between the Orioles and the Athletics, game 3, we will swing to Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles and pick up the game between the Dodgers and the Pirates in progress at L.A. That game is currently underway, but we have nothing to report as yet as far as any runs crossing the plate. So here we go to the 9th inning in this real tense struggle, and there again, Herb Carneal.
Well, at the end of 8 innings at Memorial Stadium, Baltimore, Maryland, it's the world champion Oakland A's, 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error. Baltimore, no runs, 2 hits, and 1 error. Baltimore has now failed to score the last 21 innings they have batted in the series. On Saturday, they scored 4 runs in the 5th inning. That's the end of their scoring for the day. They won the game 6-3. But since then, they have failed to score a run in this series. And here's Bill North to lead it off in the 9th inning for Oakland. North has struck out, fly to left, and lined to Brooks Robinson at third. Switch hitting Bill North, batting left. Swing ground ball hits to Brooks Robinson. He takes it over to Williams for the out at first. 1 gone in the 9th inning. North out third to first. It'll bring up Sal Bando. Bando is grounded to second. Hobart into the left field seat. Gets back to Palmer. Sal Bando went to a 3-2 count in the 4th inning. Actually, it fouled off a lot of pitches with a count 2-2. And it was the 11th pitch to him that he hit into the left field seat, fairly close to the foul pole. And that's the only run of the ball game. The pitch is low and outside a ball.
The odd part of that, Herb, is just a couple of pitches earlier, he lined the ball down the left field line that couldn't have been more than a couple of inches foul, and he probably was feeling pretty sorry for himself.
Here's a pitch from Palmer. Swing, high drive in the left field. It's carrying deep. Way back goes Baylor at the fence, and he has room, reaches up and makes the catch right at the left field wall. Don Baylor, the left fielder, right back to the 380 sign, and Bando narrowly missed another home run. 2 gone now, nobody on. Reggie Jackson is grounded to short, reached on an error by Williams. Grounded out in a great play by Gritch behind second. A slow curve is in there for a strike, and Jackson not too happy with the call. 1-0, Oakland leading. 9th inning.
Herb, I think there's just enough of a wind to keep those balls in. Those last 2 balls, one by Etchebarren and that one by Bando, both of them might have been out if the wind had not been blowing or had been blowing slightly out instead of slightly in.
It's a good point, Dick. It's not a strong wind, but as you say, it's just enough blowing in from between left and center, out of the north at 8 or 9 miles an hour. Waiting for Jackson to get in the batter's box. And the pitch on the way. Swung on a ground ball out behind second. That's into center field for a base hit. Jackson grounds a single up the middle. Well, the Pittsburgh Pirates have scored 3 runs in the first inning off Doug Rao of the Dodgers on a homer by Willie Stargell. 3-run homer for Willie Stargell. Top of the first inning with 2 outs, so the Pirates have a 3-0 lead. And as you know, the Pirates can't afford any more losses in that series. Alman Dark went out to talk to Reggie Jackson. He doesn't want to come out of the game. I'm sure, Dick, that they don't want to take Reggie's bat out of there in a close game like this. And Baltimore might tie it and go into extra innings.
Reggie has that right leg of his pretty heavily wrapped, and he said that he can't do anything but DH, and he said if that thing is in a cast tomorrow and we lose today, I'll be in there.
Joe Rudy, 0 for 3, takes a cut and he misses 1 strike. Incidentally, that was Jackson's first hit of the series, and 11 times up. Joe Rudy's 2 for 11. Today he's lined to left, hit into a 6-4 force, and been called out on strikes.
What Jackson did say was, I'll never be able to DH in the World Series, so I might as well do it now, even if I have 1 leg.
Pitch in the dirt to Joe Rudy. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reggie, who hurt his leg in the 72 championship series against Detroit. Last year, the A's were without Bill North, who hurt his ankle just before the end of the season. Here's a ground foul outside of third by Joe Rudy. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rudy. Oakland leading 1-0 in the first half of the 9th inning here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Jackson on first, 2 down. In the last of the 9th inning, we might see a pinch hitter for Mark Belanger. He's due to lead off for Baltimore. Then Rich Coggins and Paul Blair are scheduled. Only 6 hits altogether in this game, 4 for Oakland. Darrell Williams holding against Jackson. Palmer's pitch curved him low and outside. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Jim Palmer, for 4 years in a row, winning 20 or more ball games until this year when he encountered arm trouble and was out for 54 days, ended up winning 7 and losing 12, split his last 8 decisions after coming back off the disabled list. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Here's the stretch. Right-hander delivers. Fastball struck him out. Swinging the pitch down and away, and Rudy struck out. 4th strikeout for Palmer. In the 9th for Oakland. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. So as we go to the last half of the 9th inning, the score is the Oakland A's 1, the Baltimore Orioles 0.
Reminder once again, in just a few minutes, we'll be leaving the ball game, regardless of where the progress has gone to in the 9th inning. The Orioles will have up. The scheduled hitter is Belanger, the shortstop. We may get a pinch hitter. Then to the top of the order for Coggins and Paul Blair against Vida Blue. Pittsburgh is evidently having a big inning at Los Angeles. Not only a home run by Stargell with 2 on for 3 runs, but they have knocked out Doug Rowell, and Charlie Huff has now come on, so the Pirates evidently going for more. But no further report. It's still Pittsburgh 3, the Dodgers nothing, and the Pirates are still batting in the 1st inning. So our ball game now going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Belanger, the scheduled hitter, in the 9th position. And we might have a pinch hitter, then Coggins, and then Blair against Vida Blue. And we remind you again, in 2 minutes we'll be cutting away from the ball game to join the facilities for the broadcast of the President's speech before a joint session of the House of Representatives and the Senate on the economy. Then, following the President's address before a joint session of the House, the estimated time is anywhere between 30 and 40 minutes for the address by the President and the wrap-up. Any action missed in the ball game, and we will be back with the completion of the ball game. You will not miss any of the outs or the action in the ball game. Following the President's address, we will be back for the completion of the bottom of the 9th inning in the game between the Orioles and the Oakland Athletics. The score now stands Oakland 1 and the Baltimore Orioles 0. Vida Blue pitching a shutout game thus far. He has allowed but 2 hits, and the only run of the ball game scored on a home run off the bat of Sal Bando on a 3-2 pitch off Jim Palmer. That occurred in the 4th inning, and that is the only run of the ball game. As a matter of fact, that's been the only real serious threat of anybody to score. The best Baltimore could do was a long drive off the bat of Andy Etchebarren at the center field wall in the 8th inning. That's as close as they've come to scoring a run, and it remains 1-0 with the Oakland Athletics on the field, and Baltimore now batting in the home 9th, trailing by that 1-run margin. Remind you once again, in just a few seconds, we'll be cutting away and joining the facilities for the broadcast of the President's address before a joint session of the House on the current economy situation. Then we'll be back for more baseball, the completion of the bottom of the 9th inning, and then we'll have the game between the Dodgers and the Pirates, and we'll join that one in progress at Los Angeles. George Battlemacey speaking. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service. We're back with the game between the Oakland Athletics and the Baltimore Orioles on the Parade of Sports. When we left the ball game, it was still 1-0 in favor of the Oakland Athletics behind the superb pitching of Vida Blue. And when we left, it was the bottom half of the 9th inning, and the Orioles coming up with the last chance to do something about erasing a 1-0 deficit. The batter leading off the bottom of the 9th inning in this 1-0 ball game is shortstop Mark Belanger, and now here is Herb Carneal.
Mark Belanger is going to bat. When the Baltimore shortstop today has struck out and bunted out. Unassisted to first baseman Gene Tenace in the 6th. Jim Holt is now at first. Belanger looking for his first hit in the series. He is 0 for 8. Oakland ahead 1-0. The pitch to Belanger, and it's a strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Coggins on deck. Blair to follow. Blue has not walked the batter. He has struck out 6. Fires. Strike. Another fastball in there, and Belanger took it at 0-2. No balls. His strike count to Mark Belanger. Blue working quickly. Fastball hit on the ground to Dick Green at second. Over to Holt. One gone in the last of the ninth. Belanger bouncing out second to first. That'll bring up Rich Coggins, who has been called out on strikes in the first. Struck out swinging in the fourth. Fly to left in the sixth, but he's not going to bat. Enos Cabell, a right-handed batter, is coming up for Coggins. Cabell, C-A-B-E-L-L. Right-handed batting Enos Cabell. Tall and slender, takes a low fastball. One ball and no strike. Cabell played in the game Sunday and had one hit in 3 times up against Kenny Holtzman. Swing and a miss. He took a big cut at that one. Didn't get the fastball. So the count is 1-1. Cabell wears number 24. He'll play anywhere. Had him in right field on Sunday. Here's the pitch from Vida Blue. A low fastball. He had a notion, but checked his swing. 2-1. Cabell from Fort Riley, Kansas. 6'4", 180. Swing and a miss. Low outside fastball. Blue throwing a hard, sinking type fastball down and away from the right-hander batter. Now the count is 2-2. 1 out, none on. Last half of the ninth inning.
The A's can smell that kill. They roll up on the top step of that dugout now, cheering Blue on.
There's the windup. The left-hander's pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a fastball. Number 7 for Vida Blue. And Baltimore with only 1 out left now, trailing 1-0. Paul Blair coming up. Blair has grounded to short, grounded to third, and popped to second. Holtzman 1 out away from back-to-back shutouts in this series. Baltimore has not scored since the 5th inning of the first game. Holtzman ahead 1-0. Blue delivers to Blair. Swing, and here's a drive hit out to Green. He boots the ball, picks it up, throws too late. He's safe at first.
He just couldn't find the handle on that one. He bobbled it again, finally caught hold of it, threw it over just too late.
Alvin Dark, the manager of Oakland, rushing out to the mound, was sharply hit, took about 3 skips out to Green and handcuffed him. He just couldn't, as Dick said, find the handle on the ball as he grasped at it. But Blair is on first now. Baltimore's still alive. 2 down in the ninth inning. And Bobby Gritch coming up. Gritch is grounded to second, single to center, lined out to second.
I think that's Knowles and Singer out there, both warming up.
Bobby Gritch at the plate. Blair, a good base runner. Won't be taking a lot of liberty now, though, of course. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss with a fastball. 1 strike. Baltimore's had only 4 base runners today, 2 singles, and 2 errors. And the pitch on the way. Swing a high foul off to the right. It's going to be out of play. Down in the seat, down beyond first base. But Blue now ahead on the count. No ball.